At the beginning of the film, we see one of Brooklyn's residential neighborhoods. A boy is running with his friend. Two other kids wait for them near some containers, holding a gun. They head to a playground where several guys are playing basketball. The boys tell the youngest one to kill one of the gang members. He walks closer with the gun and starts firing. Luckily, no one is hurt. Everyone scatters, including the boys who were with him. The boy realizes this, throws away the gun, and runs off. As if nothing happened, the young delinquent comes home, grabs a soda, watches TV, asks his brother and sister if their mom is home, and then goes to feed his pigeons, which he keeps in a handmade cage in his room.
Possession of a deadly weapon, grand theft.
Later, this boy would be brought into the police station many times for drinking in public, hooliganism, fights, assaults, theft, and robbery, eventually ending up sentenced to time in a New York juvenile detention center. A few years later, two young trainers, Teddy and Kevin, asked their older colleague, who had already trained several boxing champions, to come look at a boy who was recently brought to them.
Gee, even Al Capone wasn't arrested 40 times.
The kid already has 40 arrests on his record. The trainer is shocked. Even Al Capone wasn't arrested 40 times. But he still agrees to see the boy, who had been abandoned even by his own mother. Because of his age, the trainer has to pause halfway up the stairs to rest. When he finally enters, he sees a strong 14-year-old boy in the ring with an incredible punching force. 5,980 pounds, but with no technique or style. Kevin says the boy first came in skinny and frail. Then he asks the sparring trainer what he's been feeding him. The trainer replies, "Same as always, coke and steroids." The elderly trainer asks the boy his name.
Mike.
He answers Cus D'Amato, asks for his full name, Mike Tyson. After sparring, Mike rides with the trainer to his home. He even lets Mike take the wheel. That's how much he believes in him. From then on, Mike will live with him. At home, Cus introduces Mike to Camille, the lady of the house. She isn't thrilled. After all, it means another mouth to feed. But Cus assures her that the extra $200 they'll receive from Mike's support will help. Cus hates disorder in the house, and as he climbs the stairs, he notices things scattered around.
You look at this. I tell you, if I catch the bum who did this, he's going to be a couple of teeth short of a smile, believe me.
Cus shows Mike his room and repeats the rules. Everything must be clean. He finds an empty ice cream container and yells angrily,
"Who ate my ice cream?"
He warns Mike never to eat his ice cream again. Mike's athletic routine begins, waking up at 4 a.m., running and training. The trainer sets him up for victories with motivational speeches and meaningful parables.
Running road work or just walking around school or watching TV. Keep that chin tucked down.
Videos of the greatest fighters also help him, including Muhammad Ali. Young Mike eagerly watches and studies every movement. His eyes burn with passion. Together with his trainer, he analyzes Rocky Marciano's fights. Cus explains that strength is not enough. Mindset is everything. Rocky didn't even understand the concept of defeat. Cus spends all his time with Tyson, planting in his mind the life goal of becoming a champion with wise and powerful words. In training, Mike polishes his technique. Cus teaches him how to move, how speed and tactics matter most, how to always stay in motion and trick opponents with feints. Meanwhile, everyday life goes on. With his new family, Mike celebrates his birthday. He even sneaks some of Cus's ice cream, but doesn't get caught.
Who ate my ice cream? Who ate my ice cream, damn it?
Then Mike suddenly learns his mother has died. In tears, he stops running and returns to Brooklyn for the funeral. At home, he visits his pigeons, feeds them, then takes them with him back to the trainer's house. To support Mike, Cus tells him that a professional is someone who fights no matter how he feels inside. Cus then gives Mike a pendant once gifted to him by Muhammad Ali, so that Mike can take it with him to the Youth Olympics. Mike's eyes light up immediately.
What is it?
It's yours. Muhammad Ali gave it to me, and I'm giving it to you. Take it with you to the Junior Olympics.
1982, Colorado, the Youth Olympics. These are Mike's first competitions. He is nervous, afraid, and doubts himself. But with the support of Teddy Atlas, Mike manages his emotions and enters the ring. It takes him only 8 seconds to knock out his opponent. It's victory, Mike's first win. Teddy immediately tells Cus about it. Cus, puzzled, asks, 8 rounds? But it's youth boxing. There are only 3 rounds. Teddy replies, not rounds, 8 seconds. Cus, delighted, asks what Mike did to his opponent. Shot him or something? Around Mike, talent scouts and promoters gather, eager to take the young prodigy under their wing. Cus orders Teddy not to let Mike talk to anyone and to bring him home at any cost. He tells Camille that since Mike no longer has a mother, they should adopt him. When they get back home, Mike proudly tells his trainer about the victory. Cus jokes, 8 seconds. What took you so long? Then he admits how proud he is of him and tells him about the adoption. Mike agrees.
What would you say if we were to become your guardians?
Well, yeah, sure.
Camille supports the idea too. Mike says he would like to call her Mom, and she is happy to hear it. Sitting on the staircase at home, Mike sees Jimmy Jacobs and Bill Clayton come to meet with Cus. These are managers whom Cus trusts greatly. Mike overhears them talking about him, and Cus predicts that he will become heavyweight champion and join the Hall of Fame alongside Rocky Marciano. Camille notices Mike listening and asks what he's doing there. Cus calls Mike over to introduce him, saying they are his friends and the most honest men in this crooked business. Mike rides in the car with his friend Rory Holloway. They talk about his future championship. On the way, they see 2 girls on the street, and Mike decides to approach them. But the girls ignore him and then run away. Mike goes into a store, mistakenly thinking they went inside. The cashier calls the police. Mike loses his temper and smashes one of the display cases. His friend practically drags him out of the store. The sound of approaching sirens can be heard, but the boys get away quickly. Mike skips training, and this isn't the first time. Teddy complains that whenever Mike messes up, he disappears for 3 or 4 days, and it's becoming a habit. Cus remains calm. He's convinced that Mike just needs the right environment to become a champion. Teddy complains that Mike sleeps with every woman around. Yesterday it was a classmate. Last week it was a teacher. Then Teddy's 11-year-old sister shows up. He goes downstairs to her and finds out that Mike grabbed her by the backside. Enraged, Teddy swears to beat the bastard. Mike finally comes home. Teddy confronts him, pressing a gun to his cheek, furious about what Mike did to his younger sister Jamie. But Mike insists that it was she who came onto him. Mike says he isn't afraid. Teddy fires into a tree, the bullet hitting at head level. After this incident, Cus expels Teddy from his training camp. Mike mockingly blows him a kiss. Cus now has to find a new trainer. That will be Kevin Rooney, who resembles Agent Coulson. In his next match, Mike wins. Fight after fight, he knocks his opponents out. Newspapers begin to write about him. Mike Tyson's world tour begins. Respect for Tyson grows exponentially. During one of the bouts, Cus suddenly collapses and is rushed to the hospital. Mike visits him and begs him not to die, saying he must get better because Mike cannot live without him. Cus always saves him. Cus gives Mike one last piece of advice: to always keep fighting. And if he ever feels fear, the trainer will return from the land of the dead and kick his ass. Mike cries and holds his trainer tightly. After Cus's death, Mike releases his pigeons into the sky. With tears in his eyes, he tells Jimmy how much he misses his trainer. Mike doesn't understand what Cus saw in him or why he loved him. Jimmy replies, because of his courage and his massive fists. He reassures Tyson, saying that now he has Jimmy, and they share a firm embrace. Las Vegas, Tyson contra Berbick, the fight that will decide who becomes the heavyweight champion of the world. Mike steps into the ring with burning rage, seeking revenge on Berbick for beating down Muhammad Ali in his farewell fight, when Ali was already suffering from illness. This fight is called Judgment Day. Mike becomes the youngest champion in the division. He is only 20 years old. A new era of boxing has begun. Mike and Kevin watch footage of his next opponent on TV. Kevin explains the man's tactics, but Mike changes the channel. Kevin tries to grab the remote and takes a punch in the jaw from Mike. Tyson storms off, then stares at the TV where a socialite and model, Robin Givens, is being discussed. Jimmy arrives and takes Mike aside for a talk. They chat, and Mike says he wants to fall in love and have children, just like Jimmy. He tells him about the girl he saw on TV. Jimmy laughs. Mike calls Robin on the phone, rehearsing how he'll talk. But as soon as he hears a woman's voice, he hangs up. He dials again. This time, awkwardly, he pushes through and actually speaks to the beauty. She's surprised by his call and already knows of his reputation. Mike asks her out. Robin arrives at his fight against Tucker in Las Vegas. During the bout, Mike takes many punches, and in the corner, instead of listening to his trainer, he keeps staring at Robin. Kevin tries to snap him back, saying that she doesn't care what his name is. All she wants is to be with the champion. If he loses, she'll leave that very night with someone else and sleep with him. She doesn't care if his name is Mike or anything else. That fires Tyson up, and once again, he wins with fury. After the fight, Mike and Robin ride in a limousine. He calls her his queen. Robin asks, "Queen for one night?" Mike answers, "For life." Mike calls Camille and tells her he and Robin got married. Robin is already 3 months pregnant. Camille is overwhelmed and speechless. Then Bill, the manager, takes the phone and tells Mike that Jimmy Jacobs has died of leukemia. The funeral will be in California. They need to fly out. At the airport, Mike, Kevin, Bill, and Jimmy's wife Lauren wait for their limo, which for some reason is late. Bill complains to Lauren that Robin immediately came into the office after Jimmy's death and declared that she would handle all of her husband's financial affairs. A limo arrives, but it's for Don King. The sly promoter had long been trying to get Tyson under his control. He remarks that when he worked with Muhammad Ali, he never had to wait for a limo. He invites Mike into his car. Mike agrees. Bill realizes the limo delay was arranged by Don King. Of course, it only takes sharks in the boxing business a few minutes to sweet-talk their prey. In the car, Don asks how much Mike trusts Bill, his second manager, and what percentage Bill gets. When he hears 30%, Don offers Mike 5 easy fights worth up to $5 million each. Mike says he'll think about it. At the funeral, Bill asks Mike what Don promised him. Mike tells him about the offer but lies, saying he rejected it immediately. Unable to hold back, Tyson leaves the ceremony in tears. Kevin follows, asking how he feels. Mike is upset that, with money in his life, the people he trusted are disappearing. Before the money, everything was different. Kevin asks about his trust in Bill and in Robin. Mike admits he doubts Robin, even though he loves her madly. He says love and trust are different things. A string of fights and performances follow. Robin increasingly tries to control Mike's finances, pushing Bill aside. Don King also attacks Bill, saying Mike is like a black slave for a white master. King constantly manipulates the press with the slavery narrative, describing Bill's relationship with Mike in those terms. Tyson himself begins repeating King's rhetoric, throwing out lines like, "Africans should only work with Africans." Arguments erupt over Mike's contracts, earnings, and commission percentages for managers. Don King shows his two-faced nature, charming Robin and encouraging her to clash with Bill Clayton, while behind her back, calling Robin a ruthless snake who manipulates Mike, faking pregnancy and confusing everyone with the timeline of her supposed child. Eventually, after a series of manipulations, Don King becomes Tyson's manager. One evening, a distressed Mike comes home to the news that Robin has had a miscarriage. Tyson is late to training. Kevin scolds him for being late. Tyson glares at him. It's clear Mike is depressed and unable to focus on training. Kevin demands he get to work. Mike refuses and leaves the ring. Mike's friend explains about the miscarriage, saying it's been hard on him. Kevin, in front of everyone, says they're all spineless leeches who don't have the guts to tell Tyson that Robin tricked him with a fake pregnancy. That sends Mike into a rage. He brutally beats his sparring partner. Then he demands the next one. Tyson gives him 10 seconds to knock him out, otherwise he'll kill him. After the 10 seconds pass, Mike destroys the fighter. A third sparring partner quickly leaves the gym. Atlantic City, 1988. Tyson versus Spinks. A lawyer hands Bill an envelope with documents, from which he learns he's been fired. Mike enters the ring with a record of 34 wins, 30 of them by knockout. His 7th title defense. Kevin motivates Mike to fight for Cus and Jimmy, the most significant event of the year, 2 undefeated champions facing each other in the ring that night. Ticket prices reached $1,500. Among the crowd were many celebrities, including Chuck Norris, Jack Nicholson, and Sylvester Stallone. Tyson wins the fight by knockout. The arena roars, everyone rushes to Mike. At Tyson's mansion, a joint interview with Robin and Mike is being filmed. Unexpectedly, Robin tells everyone that Mike suffers from manic depressive psychosis, and that living with him is worse than she could have ever imagined. Now she understands abused and humiliated women, and if he doesn't get help, things will only get worse. Watching this broadcast, Don King and one of Mike's friends are in shock. Robin openly humiliates her husband on live television. After the interview, Mike throws Robin and her mother out of the house.
Can't threaten your wife. Yo, I didn't do shit. I didn't put a hand on her. Oh, God, sir.
Robin files for divorce, giving interviews throughout the process, saying Mike regularly beat her. As a professional, he knew how to hit without leaving marks. She also claims that during an argument, he threatened to kill her. The day after the interview, Mike drives his lover out. Mike spends more and more time in clubs and public places. One night outside a club, Mitch Green provokes him. Tyson had once beaten Green by unanimous decision. Mitch says the judges gave Mike an undeserved victory and then throws insults about Mike's ex-wife, bragging that he had her that same evening. Mike's friend tries to pull him away, but Mike lands a right cross on Green, then gets in his car and drives off. Tokyo. Before his fight with Buster Douglas, Tyson watches flattering interviews with Japanese fans, most of whom express their admiration for Iron Mike. Mike enters the ring with a new team. At Don King's insistence, he fired all the trainers who had guided him to success, including Kevin Rooney. Rooney watches his former students fight on TV. Douglas controls the fight. In the 8th round, Tyson knocks Douglas down. But due to the referee's error, the count lasts 12 seconds instead of 10. Douglas manages to get back up. Don King is outraged. It's the longest count he's ever seen. The bell rings, giving Buster extra time to recover. In the 10th round, for the first time in his professional career, Mike Tyson suffers a knockout loss. In the locker room, Don calls on the phone, trying to prove that the 8th round knockdown lasted 15 seconds instead of 10, planning to fight it in court. Mike goes home, sitting with Camille, drinking tea. He sees an ice cream container and laughs, remembering how Cus once told him never to eat his ice cream. Indianapolis. Mike arrives at rehearsals for the Miss Black America pageant. The girls are pleasantly surprised by the celebrity guest. Mike joins the models for a group photo and meets Desiree Washington. That evening, he calls Desiree and invites her to a party. She agrees. They go to a hotel. Mike says he just needs to pick up his bodyguard. Desiree thinks that afterward they'll go to a glamorous party with celebrities and press. Instead, Mike leads her into his room. A few days later, Mike is taken into custody for rape. The court sentences the former champion to 6 years in prison.